In a time of giant bezel-less screens, compact phones are a rarity. Even rare is a powerful mid-range compact phone, which is a power user's wet dream. Thankfully, Moto attempted to fill up that vacuum with the Moto X4 last year. The phone came with a premium glass and metal design, a powerful mid-range Snapdragon chipset, and 4GB of RAM. But a phone with 4GB RAM couldn't be taken seriously as a power user's phone, so Moto went ahead and launched another variant with 6GB of memory. And that's just about it. On the software part, the phone will run on Android 8.0 Oreo out of the box, which is quite expected. We had reviewed the older Moto X4 and found it quite underwhelming despite appreciating the premium compact design. While there were speculations that the upcoming Moto X4 will have entirely new and upgraded hardware inside, just a RAM upgrade seems quite disappointing. The upgraded Moto X4 costs 2,000 rupees more than the 4GB variant. So what gives? So we ran our set of benchmarks on the new Moto X4 and compared them to the scores we got on the old one. As you can see, there are some improvements in the benchmark scores. But does this translate to improvements in the real world? Straight off, more RAM means the phone will have more memory to do more things simultaneously. You can keep more apps open in the background. You can also perform intensive tasks like editing photos, playing games, and more. You can see less slowdown and fewer crashes on the phone. But then again, my guess is that the increase in RAM has less to do with performance and more to do with impressing the spec enthusiasts. If you power on the phone and immediately see the amount of free RAM available, you will notice that the 6GB RAM variant has more free memory while the 4GB RAM variant has less free memory. However, after a few apps have been opened and the phone has been used a bit, the percentage of RAM free are almost the same on the two variants. That's odd as Android Oreo is more lightweight and should take up less memory than Android Nougat. For some reason, the RAM usage is more on the Moto X4 6GB than the Moto X4 4GB. Perhaps the improvements that Moto has made to the UI requires more memory to function smoothly. Moto has also added a new Moto action called Attentive Display. What happens is if you are looking at the display of your smartphone and you have set the display to go to sleep in, let's say, 15 seconds, the display is not going to go to sleep. This is because the front-facing camera knows that you are looking at the display and the display will be on because you are, let's say, reading an article or reading a book. And the minute you look away, the display is going to go to sleep. The rest of the Moto actions, including Moto Voice and Moto Display, use a low-power, always-on chip to function. Moto Voice is the localized voice assistant in the phone which uses show me commands to open apps and perform tasks even when the phone is asleep. Now, Moto's Moto actions may seem like bloatware to some, but they are some of the smartest and intuitive features on this phone. The extra memory is also used for split-screen apps to run smoother, but it's like you won't notice any significant difference. If you already have the old 4GB variant of the Moto X4, then you really don't need to upgrade to the new 6GB one. But truth be told, it's always great to have more RAM. This is especially helpful when the smartphone is stressed or if you are running multiple apps together, some heavy apps, gaming, or even multitasking. The only reason to upgrade to the new Moto X4 is probably the camera. Moto has improved the image quality and there's reason to believe the upgraded Moto X4 has a better camera than the older ones. To start with, there has been some improvements in the image quality in the upgraded Moto X4. The details are sharper and the contrast is toned down a bit. The phone has the same 120 degrees wide-angle lens of 8 megapixel resolution and the barrel distortion remains unchanged. Independent of its predecessor, the Moto X4's camera is commendable for its image quality. The f2.0 primary lens takes photos that are punchy and tend to pop out. You can say the results are more pleasing to the eye and less true to source. However, the camera is still one of the slowest in the market. While even budget phones have cameras with zero shutter lag, the camera on the Moto X4 takes more than a second to shoot a photo. The shutter lag increases under low light. The issue was present in the older Moto X4 as well and it somewhat renders the camera unusable in situations where you have to take a photo quickly. The depth-enabled mode uses the dual camera to leverage depth of field, but the outcome is more like a Snapseed filter with inconsistent blurring around the edges. Apart from this, the Moto X4 camera also has a bunch of face filters if you are into that kind of stuff. Now, it's not as accurate as the Honor 9i, but it gets the job done. And the funny thing is that the older 4GB variant of the Moto X4 is going to get all the new camera features that we've seen on the new 6GB Moto X4 when that device receives the Android Oreo update. The camera and the RAM upgrade apart, the Moto X4 now comes with Android Oreo out of the box. This brings in the default set of new features including picture-in-picture, notification management and more. You can also control the color temperature of the display, something that was not there in the older variant. More importantly, the new Moto X4 is more secure as it's running the latest Android security patch. There isn't any facial upgrade to the new Moto X4 though. Both are indistinguishable from the other. The 3D glass back encased in a metal frame and the added heft are all there. It is also a compact phone with a 5.2-inch 1080p display, which are quite rare these days. Everything except the extra 2GB of RAM and the UI are the same, including the battery. So the question remains, should you spend the extra 2000 rupees on the new Moto X4? Well, if you want access to the new Moto Actions and the new camera features before anyone else, then go ahead. But remember that the older Moto X4 will get these features with the Android Oreo update. Also, we think that these features will be a staple for all Moto phones in 2018, starting with the Moto G6, which is expected to be unveiled at MWC, which kicks off at the end of Feb. So if you want to pay 24,999 for this device or wait for a cheaper Moto device with these features, it's your call. As always, you can let us know what you thought of this review in the comment section below. If you liked it, you can hit the like button. If you disliked it, you can hit the dislike button. You can also tell us if you like this new style of videos in the comment section below and if you want to see more of it. We will catch you in another video. It's goodbye for now.